one thing we have understood. What we have understood? Internal auditor have to take the understanding of GRC responsibility within the organization. We have to assess those responsibilities. We have to give the recommendations. And to some extent, Ashwini madam, we are supposed to give assurance also. We have to tell them कि हाँ सब कुछ ठीक हो रहा है. Actually, that is the line which they are expecting from you to state, right? But in that regard, we used to give a term called reasonable assurance. We used to give a reasonable assurance. What is the meaning of reasonable assurance? So Rohan, whenever we go to any lawyer and say, this is my case, will you please fight for me? Whether what he is going to say, my dear Rohan, nothing to worry, जीतेगा तो सिर्फ रोहन ही. ऐसा तो नहीं हो सकता. नहीं, it's not possible. The moment you go to a doctor and say, I am finding this problem, he say, hey, Mr. Rohan, nothing to worry, आप आपको ठीक करके ही भेजेंगे. Not possible. Similarly, our auditor cannot say that everything and each and everything in the organization is perfectly fine. He will say that I try my level best to understand and let you know how the situation. And I checked couple of samples and I found that the things are going in line. Right? But I cannot guarantee you. Maybe 6 months down the line, you came to know about any problem and then you'll be saying, hey auditor, why you haven't identified it? Sorry. Why? So we can only provide the reasonable assurance. There are certain reasons to it. Number one, as everyone knows, we work on sample basis. We cannot test the 100% population. In that regard, many a times, nowadays the system has changed actually. So many, I would say, the brainstormers have come up with a way कि यार ये problem दूर करो. आप ये नहीं बोल सकते कि we tested the sample and then out of 1000 transactions you have checked 20 and there was no problem in 20. You cannot come on top of rest of the 9980 items. तो हमें क्या फायदा है आपका? Are you getting my point, Ron? The nowadays management and board is saying, hey, what's the use of you? You check 20 sample and saying there is no problem. What about 9980? Right? That's not possible. So now they are saying, so your opinion is not that good. So in that case, a new term that is called data analytics is nowadays being used. Management is saying, no, don't work on samples, work on data. Come up with the almost cover up everything and do let me know what is the problem. Nowadays, the things are not that you have checked 20 samples and giving me the result. No, 2 out of 20 is the problem, 8 out of 20 is the problem. No. Work on data analytics. So by that way, the internal audit has actually gone one step ahead of providing the reasonable assurance. So that is the one thing. Second problem here is of why we can't provide the absolute assurance is we work on papers. Try to understand, Rinku. We work on papers. आपने एक पॉलिसी दिया that this is my company policy. हमने पढ़ा what is compliance, adhering to the policy and procedures. You have provided me a policy, right? You have provided me the data, full year data, complete population data. I have implemented the certain data analytics softwares and checked whether the policy is complied or not. And what if there is any collusion? What if there is override of controls? हमें तो कभी भी पता नहीं चलेगा. Right? I have made a segregation of duty that the Rinku is supposed to raise it and Rohan is supposed to approve it, and Rohan has given his user ID and password to Rinku. कि रिंकू अपनी आईडी से डालते चलिए और मेरी आईडी से अप्रूव करते चलिए एंड डोंट डिस्टर्ब मी. What an auditor can do, he can just take the audit trail and will find, yeah, all of the documents are raised by Rinku and all of the documents are approved by Rohan. So we can never go next step to it. Again, अब इसको भी थोड़ा solve करने के लिए problem बनाई. So then these brainstormers again sit together and say, sir, this is also not mine. Board is saying, what I can do? For me, Rohan and Rinku all are in one category. You tell me everything is going good or not. It is your responsibility to check whether the Rohan has given his user ID password to the Rinku or not. For that, COVID comes into the place. So, system banaya, it is the duty of internal auditor not only to check that 100 vouchers raised by Rinku, approved by Rohan. No. You have to check whether those are actually approved by Rohan or not. How? We have to make this, we have to check whether there are systems placed in or not. कि रोहन की आईडी सिर्फ रोहन के पीसी में ही खुलेगी, रिंकू के पीसी में नहीं खुलेगी. नंबर 1. The moment the company implemented it, Rohan is again very smart. He said, Rinku, keep my laptop with you. Right? So now, okay, you raise in your PC, approve in my PC, auditor will not be able to find it. For that, we check whether the detective controls are there or not. Right? कि कैमरास वैमरास कंपनी में होंगे, चेक कीजिए कि रिंकू के पास रोहन का लैपटॉप तो नहीं रखा हुआ. चेक द सिस्टम. रिंकू क्या करती है, यहां पर डालती है, विद इन द सेम मिनट यूज टू अप्रूव फ्रॉम रोहन पीसी, चेक इट एंड फाइंड आउट द गैप्स. हाउ रोहन इज एबल टू अप्रूव इन द नेक्स्ट 10 seconds द मोमेंट रिंकू इज सबमिटिंग इन इनवॉइस. चेक इट. क्या रोहन खाली बैठा है क्या? His job is just waiting when the Rinku will post and I'll just approve it. That is the problem. So it is the duty of internal auditor to remain vigilant, try to understand. Right? Though we are supposed to provide the reasonable assurance, but it is very important for an internal auditor to be vigilant. क्या क्या हो सकता है? Right? Later on a big fraud came into the picture and Rohan is saying, no, I have not approved it. This was done by Rinku. I was also wrong. I shared my user ID password with Rinku, but I was never anticipating that Rinku is going to do such a big fraud in the organization. No, it is your duty of the internal auditor to identify these problems. Right? So check audit trails, how the vouchers are being submitted, how these are being approved, what is the difference, implement the cameras. Sir, now it's the COVID environment, it's a work from home environment, we cannot implement the cameras at home. तो कैसे पता चलेंगे? रोहन ने तो अपना लैपटॉप परमानेंटली रिंकू को दे रखा है. Nowadays companies has also started implementing geolocation technologies. They will be tracing the location of Rohan's laptop where it is. Are you getting my point? So many things can be there, right? So I'm not saying that every organization is that vigilant, but when it comes to a matter of financial institution, for example, banks and all, when there are the big level of the repercussions are there, money laundering, terrorist financing, human trafficking, drug trafficking, right? These kind of big frauds are there, which will not only impact the organization but also impact the entire country. So in these kind of organization, the companies has implemented a next level of controls. Right? Clear? Most of you might have used the technology called Gemini nowadays. Right? How Geminis work? You will be just putting my photograph to the Gemini and ask you, convert this picture wearing a red sari. Right? Clear? All of you must have tried it, right? So now just try to understand. You will be creating a picture of mine and will be creating a fictitious ID. And nowadays the banking system primarily are doing the online boarding and all that stuff. Right? Nowadays you don't need to go to the bank to open an account. Executive will come and take a photograph of yours, will do all these things and your account is opened. What if someone has opened those accounts falsely? राइट क्योंकि बहुत सारी टेक्नोलॉजीज ऐसी आगे, डीप फेक्स ऐसी आगे विच कैन क्रिएट द इमेज ऑफ द पर्सन, वीडियोज ऑफ अ पर्सन. अश्विनी मैडम, वीडियोज ऑफ अ पर्सन, not only image. What you will do? How the banks are going to make sure that the actual person was there when the KYC was done? So again, this is a problem. Technology is coming, challenges are coming, fraud risks are coming. We also have to be vigilant in all these things. So now there is a term called facial recognition. Right? We all know about this term. We go to the office, then they read our face and all this stuff. But these deep fakes nowadays are creating the exact image of yours that none of these softwares can identify it. So in that, the next level of control which is placed by the financial organization. Why we are discussing? We may be an auditor into a financial organization as well, na? Right? So we have to understand all these things. Nowadays, the technology are going that they will be identifying whether it is a deep fake audio or video and photo or it is a real one. At every fraction of your second, your face, there are thousands of I would say vibrations which are happening on your face. Movement, muscle movements. It's not only the expressions which these defects can create, but even in this portion of your face, there are hundreds of movement are happening. The tools are there which will be actually identifying whether those movements are happening or these are just deepfake videos. Are you getting me? By that way, they'll be able to segregate the deepfake videos versus the actual videos. Now they go to your retinas and understand all of the things which are happening in your retina and will be identifying whether this is live or not. Right? I'm not saying the fraudster will stop here. Fraudster will again find out the solution to it. Then the fraud fighter should also find the next level of solution to it. Right? So the ultimate point here is that internal auditor cannot simply check that yes, it is done. We have checked and everything is done. No. You have to understand in today's environment what all tools should be implemented by the organization and whether those tools are absolutely working or not. But still, there are certain things that we are outsiders of the organization. We don't know everything in and out of the organization. That's why we cannot give the absolute assurance. Second reason. Third reason that we can't provide the absolute assurance is we work on the information. I use the word called information. Information consists of data, document, everything. We believe on the information provided to us and then we used to check it. What if that information is not provided to us? How we can check it? Are you getting my point? Right? So that is again the biggest problem. So that thing again, for example, there is a sales matter. We have never been informed that the organization is also doing a B2B sales. We have been informed that we do the B2C sales. We take that data and we perform that data analytics, came up with the last opinion that there is no problem. Actually, the problem was in B2B, but we were never informed that we do the B2B as well. So as it is not informed to us, how we can check it? That is again the problem. But again, the persons came and say, you cannot say that you are not aware. You have to find out the other ways to identify that whether the data provided to you is exhaustive or not. Bhai check kar lijiye na. Check how much material is purchased, how much input is done, how much all these things are done. Then check whether this similar level of sales is made or not. Similar level of output is there or not. Whatever you have purchased should be equal to sold plus closing inventory. Right? We always call opening plus purchases is equal to closing plus sales hona chahiye. Why don't you perform this analysis? Right? Until as you perform this analysis where you can see 100 quantities were in the beginning, 1000 were purchased, 1100, 800 were sold, closing should be 300. What if the sales of 700 is only provided to you? You can ask them, where is the 100 unit? They will be able to, those were B2B sales. Are you getting my point? You can also go for nowadays in Indian context, you can go for the GST reconciliation as well. You can check from the other way around. Why the payment of transporter is made for 100 shipments? Why the sales only have the 80 shipments? Because the 20 shipments were belong to B2B only. You can check those things also. Are you getting my point? So it is the duty of internal auditor to come up with the next level of assurance nowadays. But again, what if all these things are well known by the management as they have taken care of all these things? They are maintaining a separate books of accounts. Rohan, 2 companies there are in the company. They are maintaining parallel books of accounts. One for auditor, one for actuals. Then you can't do anything. Right? So that is called the reasonable assurance. We are supposed to provide the reasonable assurance, and because of these prima facie, these 3 reasons, we cannot provide the absolute assurance. Clear to everyone?